So I often call myself a disruptor. All my life I've been doing that. Whether it was in the streets when I was hustling, to entering technology in Silicon Valley and starting my own startup. Yeah. My name's Divine. I currently live in New York City, or Brooklyn, and I'm an entrepreneur, a former founder, and I'm also the brand ambassador for Commissary Club. I was born in Newport, Rhode Island. So growing up there, it was predominantly white. I dealt with a lot of racism, a lot of bias and discrimination as a youth. But again, I was raised middle class initially until my mother eventually and unfortunately became addicted to crack cocaine during the 80s crack epidemic that plagued the nation. And that gave me my worldview from two different lenses. One lens was middle class upbringing, educated, aspiring to be a professional. The other was poverty, crime, violence, and the drug trade, which eventually caused my incarceration. I was incarcerated at 19 years old to 84 months in federal prison, and I learned so much. The judge actually told me to consider it like going away to college, and I turned my incarceration into a education lab, if you would, and I just really would study and really just better myself in every way that I could. I really sought out higher education. I read books. Spirituality was a big influence on me, and it actually helped me fortify my emotional and mental state and kept me strong. And I just realized that despite the circumstances and situation I was in that was negative, to look for the positive in it and to flip it around, turn it into something positive and leverage that time to build myself. So it was all about personal self-development and growth and education for me. They offered these ACE courses, adult continuing education courses. One specifically I remember signing up for was business plan writing, because I was always entrepreneurial, and my dream was to start a record label when I came home. When I first came home, it was a struggle. I became 100% dissatisfied with my life. I knew I was smarter than being incarcerated. I knew I was more intelligent than continually living an illegal lifestyle or being engaged in crime culture. So I decided that I wanted to change my life. So I started thinking like what I really love, and it came to me like entrepreneurship. I want to be like a serial entrepreneur. Eventually I came across an article while still incarcerated about Silicon Valley venture capitalist Ben Horowitz. I was intrigued by his story about how he loved hip hop. So I reached out to him on Twitter. I told him I had read about him while incarcerated, and I eventually would ask him to mentor me. And that started a fast friendship. And that's how the whole trajectory of my life changed and positioned me within technology, entrepreneurship, and startup building. Divine, Ben Horowitz, venture capitalist.
Why do you believe that nobody else?
I was like, I came across this ad on social media about this company called Udacity, and they had this digital marketing nano degree that's about $1,000 to enroll. But for this particular nano degree, they didn't have any scholarships. So I reached out to Ben, and I asked him if he could talk to somebody at Udacity to see if they can get me a scholarship for the digital marketing nano degree. And then Ben was like, Divine, me and my wife will give you a scholarship. So him and Felicia Horowitz gave me the $1,000 to get the scholarship, to pay for the course rather. And that was the beginning of a life-changing event. So I took the nano degree, and that positioned me to entry-level position as a digital marketer. I had applied for an internship at Udacity. I had got it, And that just took me to a whole nother level. Welcome to the Udacity Unlock Potential program. My name's Divine. I created and built this. I took all my skills and put them into work to build a nano-degree program for people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds, people who are system impacted. And that means, one, they come from disadvantaged socioeconomic background. Two, they're formerly incarcerated. And I wanted to create something for that demographic. And I leveraged my story and used my story to create this course for Udacity. And it was provided for free through Udacity to empower people that come from similar backgrounds as I do. All the skills that I was able to get from Udacity by taking a digital marketing nano degree really empowered me and helped me position my company. So I eventually came up with an idea to build something around financial economic empowerment for African Americans. And that was a company I started called Black FinTech. Black was an acronym that stood for Build and Leverage Acquiring Knowledge. Outside of making money and making a profitable business, I wanted to have social impact. And I wanted to empower people that come from situations and backgrounds like I do. To me, knowledge is the epitome of empowerment, right? That's how I look at learning. That's how I look at education. Education is empowering, period.